Hey guys, John Holiday here doing another YouTube on what I call the rest of the story. And I think it's the missing link to all the different things that I have posted on YouTube. Maybe not the missing link to what I posted, but missing link to a lot of people's philosophy as far as how to get ahead in life and different things like that. If you hadn't seen my SpongeBob YouTube or hadn't seen my Time and Money YouTube, those are good YouTubes to watch. Before this one. If you have to catch it after this, that's fine too. So, however, this one, the rest of the story is kind of a bring it all together type illustration. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. So let me get over here to my board and I'll go ahead and get started. Most everybody, or let me rephrase that, a lot of people are very familiar with Dave Ramsey. And the secret to Dave Ramsey's formula, so to speak, is his baby steps. Hold on while I adjust this board real quick. His baby steps, they're called the 7 baby steps, so I'm just going to write them right here. The 7 baby steps are pretty popular. They're a group of steps. Step 1 is to put $1,000 in the bank. Have that as a miniature emergency fund. Step 2 is what's called the debt snowball. And the debt snowball is when you list your debts smallest to largest, make minimal payments, on all of them except for the smallest. And you slam the smallest one. And so basically it becomes a snowball. Once you pay off the smallest one, then you roll all that over to the next one, and then you roll that all over to the next one, and eventually you've paid off all your consumer debt. So step 1 is $1,000 in the bank. Step 2 is the debt snowball. Step 3 is to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. If you saw my Time and Money, you kind of saw the diagram of how the living expenses versus the active income versus the passive income. If you hadn't seen that, check out my YouTube channel. It's on there. It's called Time and Money Video. So basically, in Dave Ramsey's baby steps, baby step number 3 is to save up 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. And you probably keep that in a money market. That's what Dave Ramsey says to do. So you can't get your hands on it like really quick, but if it's an emergency, if you really need it, you can get it within a couple days for sure. So you keep this $1,000 in like a savings account. You pay off all your consumer debt, and then you have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in a money market. And then you move to baby step number 4. Now note, they're in order 1, 2, 3. Dave Ramsey says whatever you do, keep them in this order. If you don't have $1,000, quit paying extra on debt, pay the minimum payments on all of them, collect enough money to have $1,000 just in case the car breaks or if you need an emergency fund. Once you've gotten the emergency fund, then what you need to do is start paying off the debt. So you do the debt snowball. You don't need to save any large living expenses, a large emergency fund, which is baby step number 3, until you paid off all the debt. Baby step number 4 is set up your retirement. And Dave Ramsey says to put 15% of your bring home, net bring home. Okay, so that's baby step number 4. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, probably. Maybe in a different video. Number 5 is education fund. 6 is pay off the mortgage. And then baby step 7 is what Dave Ramsey refers to as wealth building. And Dave Ramsey does wealth building in paid for real estate and mutual funds. So that is the pure layout of the 7 baby steps of Dave Ramsey. If you'll notice that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a linear concept. It's in a line. So you can't, if it's in a line, you can't skip way down here and start doing retirement and expect it to work. You have to go 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. Dave Ramsey, it's varied. Some people think this is a 10 to 15 year program. Some say 10 to 20 year program. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I think this works by itself. I do think it will take a while, maybe even that many of years. And it absolutely works by itself. But let me show you how to accelerate it. That's why I call it the rest of the story. And basically what I want to do is throw in here, this is a linear concept. It's in a line. I want to throw in 2 non-linear concepts. The first non-linear concept I want to do, well, first of all, let me say something. I absolutely, totally agree with all these baby steps, and I especially agree that you should have 1 through 3 completely done, no matter what your philosophy is. So I'm hard and fast on 1 through 3. Now this first non-linear concept I want to talk about, I'm going to draw a circle because that it's kind of not as non-linear as it gets, is this is going to be crazy, the idea of prepping. Now I'm not talking about like zombie apocalypse prepping, even though I went and saw that movie 3 days ago. But I am talking about being prepared. And whether you are a doomsday prepper or some kind of just, late Boy Scout or whatever, prepping's not a bad idea. There's many churches and religions that believe in being prepped and ready. And if you fall into this category of being a prepper or thinking that prepping's not such a bad idea, then basically you want to put this non-linear concept into this line. So you have to inject this, and basically you want to do that right here, right in the middle of your 3 to 6 months living expenses. I basically would get 1 month of living expenses, and then I would take another month's worth of living expenses and start my initial prep. And then I get a second month of living expenses, and then I do an additional prep, whatever that means. I don't know. You'd have to know more about prepping and kind of figure out what your game plan is. There's several. The Survival Podcast talks about how to prep. It's got 20 steps to prepping. There's all kinds of good things. It's the, spelt out, T-H-E, survivalpodcast.com. And from there you can listen to Jack Spirko and the Survival Podcast. The next non-linear concept I want to talk about that is going to speed this up and make this work even faster than the projected 10 to 20 years is the idea of the idea of passive income. And if you hadn't seen my cash flow quadrant YouTube, you need to go watch that for sure. Passive income. Also, my time and money YouTube relates to that. Passive income is on the right side of the quadrant. So if you hadn't seen the cash flow quadrants, that would be a good starting point. And Also the time and money YouTube. Passive income, once you figure out, hey, that's a good thing, and you get sold on the idea of this non-linear concept, then you want to inject it in this linear concept here. And basically what you want to do, depending on where your stance is on passive income, if you're like, dude, passive income's the answer, it's the answer to everything, and you're real aggressive about it, then you need to drop that in somewhere right up in here. Just baby step number 2. If you are a little less convinced that passive income is the way to go, but you still believe that it is, then you probably should drop it in right in here, about where your 3 months worth of living expenses is. And then if you're totally conservative on it, but you don't want to miss the idea of passive income because it makes sense to you, then maybe you should just drop it in right here at baby step number 4. So basically I've taken 3 concepts. I took Dave Ramsey's baby steps, I took the idea of prepping, and I took passive income, and I've combined this linear concept with 2 very non-linear concepts. It's very, very ambiguous. It's not very defined, prepping or passive income for that matter. But this in itself is the layout for the rest of the story. The reason I think it's the layout for the rest of the story is because so many people don't, they either have one, they have the Dave Ramsey baby steps, or they have prepping, or maybe they have a combination of both, and they're constantly competing with these 2 philosophies, or they're in some kind of passive income source and they're living the great life, but they ain't got out of debt, and so they're in over their head, and then if this falls through or has problems, then they're real ate up in this process here and it doesn't work for them. So anyway, I've gone about 12 minutes, so that's all for now, and y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.